So try and hear that in your head as a real octave. If it goes too sharp, then automatically anyone with a good sense of pitch will know that something's wrong and that doesn't sound very good. So an easy octave, and think how you would sing that to play it successfully. You probably wouldn't go or so again, singing teaches us many things about how to play efficiently, successfully. Although Philip Sparke carefully says semplice, I don't think it should feel like anything too solemn. I think that little bit of stretching, if you do it with good taste, it's going to sound really nice. As the intervals get bigger, make sure you're supporting from the middle of the body. Sure you take the phrase right to that last concert E flat. Don't necessarily da 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 da. Don't peak there. Go through it. Sounds a lot better. And then the end of the phrase. We have that lovely interval. So try to relax with it. Nothing's going to be gained. I hate to demonstrate it badly. I think you know what I mean. Don't tighten up and don't put unwanted aggression there. Just believe that that's going to be smooth. When I perform this, I always, at that moment, look at something pretty much horizontally ahead of me. It could be an exit sign on the back of the door. I try not to look at people at that moment, but something in the distance helps you stay very stable. And then the next phrase, poco più mosso, it is important to move this on a little bit. And if you have an accompanist that stays at the same speed or a conductor that just keeps moving at the same speed, maybe just suggest it sounds better, it's what Philip Sparke wanted, and gives you some more energy. And make a note that these dotted rhythms are in fact double dotted. And so we can make this quite good energy as we da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 da. Gives you some extra chance for breath as well. But the double dotted is a very important feature that I don't often hear. People kind of half do it and then it doesn't really work. Some air left in the tank, really open up. If you play with the band get pretty loud at that moment. So unless you want to disappear from sight, as it were, you need to really play strong. Pretty much as you feel. It doesn't have to be quite as slow as that, but definitely a grandiose moment. And then the next section, I talked to Philip Sparke about it, like a couple of his pieces, like Party Piece and Harlequin, we go into a little rhapsodic section, and that's the next section. Phrase that, try and make it sound very natural rather than something just a lot of notes and lacking direction, and that little bit of rubato, only a little bit, otherwise you're going to confuse whoever's accompanying you. Try and get the fingers nice and smooth. down on the concert E flat. So if you have a trigger, please use it. If you don't, then find an alternative, you know. So that'll work. And now we approach the cadenza very gently. And you have lots of choices in the cadenza. How fast, how much time should you take? But if you play it intelligently, so that we hear all the notes, very important, you can have a nice variety of tempo and dynamics and enjoy the pauses, enjoy the fermatas. Very easy to get out of control with those runs. Lots of sharps to think about. They all carry through. Don't think you can not play them and nobody will notice. Maybe they won't, but euphonium players should notice. Di ya da da di ya da da di ya da 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 di ya da 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 da. So, you know, 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s. And then that's quite strong. And then get used to showing the downbeat. Quite hard to do because anything could disturb your lips. So get used to some nice gestures with the, I prefer with the right arm, with the right elbow. It doesn't disturb anything here. No circles, no that. And a conductor or pianist will follow you perfectly. So then we move on to the 10/8 section. This is a really good section. I've heard it played in so many different ways. Often a little bit slow. By all means, practice it like that when you're learning it, when you're cleaning it up, working it on detail. Very good idea. But the performance should have more energy. But note carefully, there's not a lot of accents here. So we really don't want the other extreme. It loses its character. And remember, that's your accompaniment. So don't be tempted to jump onto that pointed style when actually it's not. Notice that nice crescendo. So, a lot of players play the notes too long. Even with good energy, we hear sorry, I'm not really sure what to do with a note if it just goes, but I am long, you know. It's got to live a little bit. And of course count. The number of students I've worked with, especially without an accompanist, da 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 dee da da, ba da ba da da dee da 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 da, ba da ba, just jumping in early and occasionally late. So be careful. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 ba 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 da bi da ba da 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 bo da bi da ba da ba. So I'm hitting myself quite hard, but you really have to internalize that rhythm very strongly. And then we move on to some of the other figures. Don't snatch the breath at these, because it's not going to be successful. You've got time to take a good breath. Is a concert D. So many of you play concert F. Be careful there. And so on we go. Don't play everything at the same mezzo dynamic. You know, show some top colors. And other places you could just be gentle. Then it's really interesting for the audience. It's a really great dance movement. And then we move to the 5/4 section. if you haven't cut it. Enjoy the band playing those measures rest. They often miscount through there, but hopefully only in rehearsal. And think of the tempo that you want, because sometimes bum ba bum ba 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 da dee da. You're handed that, and poco meno is Philip's instruction. So bum ba bum ba ba da ba da bim ba bum ba 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 bi ha bi ho di. I really like it to be kept moving, and the only time I recorded this, performed this with Philip Sparke conducting, 1986. What a good memory I have. Well, for a good reason. It was 1996, I'm so sorry. I'll edit that out. 1996 at the Royal Albert Hall with the Breeze Brass Band. We played a short concert before the results, and what I noticed that Philip really, really moved that there, and that stayed in my mind. So you get a beautiful shape, and when it goes too slow, nothing happens. And don't bluff those 16th notes. They need to be heard. So practice them slowly, try and get them really smooth. And then that famous link back into letter H, if I remember. I kind of memorized the letter numbers. Which is one of the reasons, I guess, why some people don't play it, because they find it pretty horrific. So when you get to that section, obviously practice it slowly. Even a group at a time. And so you build it up, and like you're building a wall. You start at the bottom, build it with confidence, make sure it's strong, and then have that high treble clef E flat, concert D flat in your head, and make sure you've got enough air for it. And hopefully the trombone in the band will join you just at that moment and play his 6/8 melody perfectly in time. It doesn't always happen, I have to say. So where are we going to breathe during this section? Because you've got some alternates, and depending on your lung capacity and how fast and how deeply you can breathe, you need a plan. You must have a plan. What could it be? It could be there, and of course that necessitates a rallentando. And if it's done well, it sounds natural. You could take a bigger breath at that first point and then try and go through. Now, that's quite hard, especially with the band, especially if you're keeping an eye on a conductor that may be lost or is unclear, and you have to be aware that you may have to be flexible. So you may need another breath. How about... And that could work, and that's kind of without the round. Keeps it more continuous. Now, you can practice that without the quintuplets. Make sure that's really nailed down. Play it 20 times. I'm not going to do that now. But find your version, one that you're happy with, and don't worry about making mistakes. That's why we practice. But make sure that last note is in your head. And then be careful with the next phrase. Now you have to be absolutely perfect, because bum 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 ba da 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 bum 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 bum. It's often a moment of confusion for the accompaniment, be it piano or band. It's such a relief to hit that bum ba bum ba bum when we get there. So ba bum ba ba da ba bum ba ba da ba da da. Make sure that's absolutely clear. And then we go back to the sign, and then of course ba da ba bi da ba da bum. Now, the choice you take for the finale is up to you. I work with a lot of students, and when we get to that moment, they suddenly go, I can't play this, I can't do this, and then usually they can. But pick a tempo that you can sustain at, not just but all the way, boom, boom, boom. So of course start at a slow tempo. Of course start at a slow tempo. Some of you may say, that's my performance. And look at the dynamics. It really wouldn't hurt. I mean, everybody should sing more. But singing the last page of pantomime, people go, you're kidding. So be careful. Yeah, that sounds like I've had a few glasses to drink. And then even. Now, you can save an awful lot of lip power by practicing that through. And why not do it in a swing rhythm? Whichever alternate you do. Make sure you know what you're going to do. Make sure you know where you're going to breathe. Breathe fast. And don't play unnecessarily loud when it says piano. There's no point. You're just going to end up at the end of each phrase. Very tricky. I'm going to play it through in a minute, but when you get to now, again, you have some alternatives. You may have heard somebody going somebody out of control. So don't do that, because, I mean, maybe if you're going to sky one of them, well, do that on the last one. I don't think Philip would mind. But, and not this either. I hear you say, what's wrong with that? It doesn't go down to the original note. And so many players, when I mention it, you know, you played that wrong. Huh? Because they've always played it like that. So some things won't get any better. So be really careful. Now, supposing you get to that low concert E flat, then what are you going to do? Unless you're circular breathing like a demon, you're going to have to get some air in for what's coming next. So you could just miss out 1/16, or miss out 2/16. That's all okay. But make sure you don't lose time, and make sure you don't disappear from view. And then we have. Now, so many people stress about that high E flat. And if you can't play it, I understand why. But you've got to find a way of getting there. So. So work on your super fast pitched air. And get it so it's stable. Now, when it happens, you've got no thinking time, which in a way is good. You don't have time to do that kind of stuff, but you've got to be ready for it. Now, some of you know that I play 2 notes there. It gives a lovely wall of sound. Don't do it unless you can, otherwise it's going to sound like you've crashed in your, in your final breaths of life. So be really sure what you want. Don't play a pedal, because the band or even the piano is going to be playing so loud there. You're not going to be heard. So a really good, practice that. It's almost certainly going to be in tune or sharp. I bet you my house that you're not going to play that flat, and please don't record it playing flat and say I want your house, but you know what I mean. Normally that's too high. The law of brass physics suggests that could be high. AW, or for that low tone. And if you're going to add the 10th, then work on it until when it happens, boom, you can just do it. Now, what about that trill? Of course, lip trill is ideal. But a lot of people just can't do it. So you're going to need something. And I would recommend a first valve trill. It'll sound high energy and really exciting. Okay, count carefully through it. Trills through longer notes, especially the end of a piece, can disturb the mind slightly. Okay, so then what do we do with the final flourishes? Because Philip just writes, and we know, I don't think anybody plays that. My own version, I think, was based on a chromatic scale. And then, of course, that's a little bit of the 10/8. I didn't make that up. I heard that played by Steph Pila many years ago, more than 20 years ago, with brass band Willowbrook. Just brings that 10/8 theme. And if you can do that and just bed it in, I think it sounds nice. I'm sure Philip Sparke doesn't mind. And then either be careful if you go from the pedal, you better get it, otherwise you're going to kill the high note. So let's put this last page together. Enjoy it, work at it section by section until you're happy with it.